Oh boy, oh boy. All right, folks, buckle up. We've got a classic Donald Trump fiery address on our hands. And if you thought you were going to get a coherent policy discussion, well, you clearly haven't been paying attention. We're about to dive deep into a masterclass of stream of consciousness where facts are optional and every tangent is a new adventure. Dear Lord, get ready as we dissect the glorious rambling and at times truly head scratching moments that define the Trump presidency and frankly raise some serious questions about the cognitive agility. We're going to call out the flawed arguments, offer some relatable insights, and maybe, just maybe, share a laugh or two at the sheer absurdity of it all. Let's roll.
But I want to personally congratulate CNN's Kaitlan Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Kaitlan, congratulations. But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Kaitlan, do you have a smile? Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Kaitlan, just smile. But we attack, and I thought Kaitlan had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it, they hired Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial? And then you have writer Josh Dorsey.
Oh, jeez, man. What is up with this guy? Did you catch that? First, it was $35 million. Then, poof, just like that, magic. It's $35 billion. That's a jump of 3 whole zeros there, buddy. It's like saying you found a quarter, then immediately correcting yourself to say you found a treasure chest of gold. The man just throws out numbers like confetti, hoping one sticks. It's not just a slip of the tongue. It's a fundamental disregard for factual accuracy, dressed up as correction. And the pivot from Kaitlan Collins to smile, don't smile, to Dylan Mulvaney, cost Bud Light billions of dollars, is a textbook Trumpian tangent. It's like watching a squirrel trot across a highway, darting in every direction, but never quite getting to the other side. What does any of this have to do with Kaitlan's award? Like, what? Which he already declared fake, by the way. This isn't a policy address. It's a performance art piece, where the artist is convinced every thought is a profound revelation. He can't stay on topic to save his life, or perhaps his market cap figures. Let's roll.
He also received, he's been killing me for years. No, and yet tonight he shakes my hand, he hugs me, everything nice. He kills me. Josh is amazing. He writes more stories than any human being. There's nobody that writes more than Josh. He'll write 4 stories about me a day, all different subjects. I mean, I had the other day 3 stories and one on he was upset about this. 1 was on page 7, 3 were on page 1. They were all written by Josh. But he's hit the big time, and he's a workhorse, and yet he's almost unhireable. You know, he's just one of these guys.
Dear Lord, stay on the topic, man. Let's unpack this gem. Josh Dorsey is a workhorse. He writes more stories than any human being. He's hit the big time, and yet he's almost unhireable. Excuse me? That's like saying a 5-star restaurant serves the most exquisite Michelin-level cuisine, but you absolutely cannot, under any circumstance, eat there. Which is it, Donald? Is the man a journalistic titan or a professional liability? This isn't just a contradiction. It's a hallmark of Trump's communication style. He built someone up with hyperbole, only to tear them down with an equally absurd, often baseless insult. Very juvenile. It's like a verbal tug of war where both sides are losing. It just shows a mind that struggles to hold on to consistent thought, just one thought, bouncing between praise and condemnation without any logical bridge. It's almost as if the words just tumble out, disconnected from any coherent narrative. The man needs a mental editor, stacked.
Wall Street Journal's lucky to have him, but you really, it's unbelievable. He's almost unhireable. CNN is also here, and I'm very disappointed they didn't bring fake Tapper because he's had a rough couple of years, fake has. He calls me up every once in a while. If I pick it up, pick up my phone. I used to go to this young lady. I'd say, any calls from the press? No, sir. I said, oh, now I'm the president of the United States, right? I'd say to Stephen Chung, is Stephen here someplace? Where's Stephen? He's one of the toughest human beings I've ever met. Don't ever wrestle Stephen, you'll be in big trouble. But I say, Stephen, let me ask you, did the press call? No, sir. When I was a developer, I'd get a call every half an hour. For whatever reason, I always got disproportionate press. So I said, Stephen, nobody called? No, sir. 2 hours later, I say, hi, Steve, how are we doing? Everything good? Anybody call? No, sir, no press calls. I said, I'm president. Nope, they never call. So this went on for about a week. I'd say, Caroline, did the press call? No, sir, no calls. I said, nothing. That's over a week. I haven't received a call. So I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to give the press my phone number. That was the stupidest thing I ever did. I'm getting a call every 3.7 minutes.
Oh, dear Lord, this guy. The legendary tale of presidential phone number. So, according to Donald, his staff, including Caroline and Stephen, were apparently so convinced he was above it all, and they just stopped relaying press calls. Really? The President of the United States and his staff decided he was too important to talk to the media? That's a narrative so self-serving, it practically serves itself champagne. Then, in a stroke of genius, he gives out his personal phone number and then complains about getting a call every 3.7 minutes. What a random number. Not 3 minutes, not 4 minutes, 3.7 minutes. Dude, have some more McDonald's. The hyper-specific yet utterly unverifiable detail is a classic tale. It's like a child throwing their toy out for the parm, then crying because they have no toys. He creates the problem, then blames everyone else, including the very people he invited to call him. This isn't just rambling. It's a peek into a mind that constructs its own reality, where he's always the hero or the victim, depending on the current narrative whim. Let's keep on rolling.
Stephen, I don't know where the hell you've been, but the press calls, I'm getting calls, ring, ring. I was with somebody today. They said, I've never heard a phone ring as much as fresh. Now, I look at the thing and usually just delete, delete, delete. Every once in a while, it'll be one of the people in this room that I like, and I'll pick it up. Like this one right here calls me on occasion, right? She'll call me and she says, hello, sir. How are you? We want to talk about some horrible subject, like a horrible, depressing subject. I say, Jackie, I don't want to talk about it. Congratulations, however, on your new marriage. But I don't want to talk about it. But it's true. And people call me now. And so for weeks I go, no calls. And I learned then that both of them, they feel that I'm doing a great job. And they feel I'm above it all. And that no person, hundreds of people call, no person is good enough to talk to Trump. And so we don't even bother telling you. That's not the way it works, Caroline. You have to let me know, because sometimes I do like to speak to the press, but now I have the best system I've ever had. It rings, and just so you understand, you're much better at putting your name, because if there's no name, I just can't do that. I pick up every once in a while. Hello, I'm from Reno, Nevada. We're a startup paper. We're calling us the Reno Express. I said, do you believe I'm the president of the United States? Mr. President, could I have your views on Iran? And I just hang up. No, I get the craziest calls. I mean, some of them, my wife said, I can't believe you do this. This is a hell of a way to live. But sometimes they get calls from very important. Sometimes I can straighten out stories that are going to be fake, and I can make them from a fake story to a good story. I always find that when you don't speak to the press, you always get a bad story. When you do speak to the press, you have a shot at getting a good story. Oh, look. No, look, if I were a reporter, and let's say I'm a big reporter, I work for the failing New York Times, or I work for, well, I don't know, do they ever come to these dinners? Didn't they cancel out a long time ago? Big mistake. They should be here. But I get a call. I've always found that, speaking to them, you just do better. You do better when you can, when you have the time. You speak to the reporter. You treat the reporter with respect. Sometimes now there are reporters where it doesn't matter. You can be so nice to them, it doesn't matter. You get treated unfairly. But you have a lot of great reporters where when you speak to them, you can get your point across, and that's a good thing.
Oh my goodness, please cue the clown music already. And there you have it, folks. Another masterclass in the meandering, often contradictory, and always self-aggrandizing world of Donald Trump's public speaking. From fluctuating market cap figures to unhireable workhorses, and the saga of the presidential phone. What the hell? We've seen a pattern of thought that prioritizes spectacle over substance and self-mythologizing over coherent policy. It's a presidency and a public persona that truly keeps you guessing, not about what he'll do, but about what bizarre tangent he's going to take next. If you found this dive into delightful disarray as enlightening or as frustrating as we did, hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and let us know in the comments what you thought of this truly unique style. Until next time, stay sharp and keep those critical thinking caps on. More of the clown.